First, you need to understand that the hip joint is pretty complex. There is a web of over 20 muscles that cross the actual hip joint itself. That's just on one side. That means more than 20 are also involved on the other side. Those 20 muscles will restrict or enable certain ranges of motion, so it can get pretty complex, which is why I want to draw your attention instead to the elbow so you understand the principles of what is going on here and why massage is not going to fix all of your hip impingement or hip arthritis, hip pain. And if you're thinking right now, well, obviously massage can't fix bone problems, I'm going to just pause you right there and remind you to ATM, always think muscles, because many studies over many years have shown that you can have grade 4 arthritis and still have no hip pain. And many studies have shown that you can have FAI or hip impingement bone shapes and have absolutely no symptoms. You can have hip labral tears and have absolutely no symptoms. The correlation between what you see in x-rays and MRIs to your actual symptoms is basically non-existent. And many people are actually able to fix their hip pain with exercise by addressing the muscles that surround the hip joint. So if you focus on the things that you can control, your muscles, and you retrain them, you have a very good chance of actually getting rid of your hip pain long term. But you can't just rely on massage alone, and now let's jump into why. And before I forget, I want to ask, have you been given the hip impingement diagnosis or the hip arthritis diagnosis? How did it make you feel, and where are you on your journey out of hip pain? Drop me a comment down below. Imagine that I lived the last 5 years of my life with my elbow strapped into this position. I'm in full deep elbow flexion, and I'm never able to extend my elbow or straighten it out. This would leave the triceps in a relatively lengthened position and the biceps in a relatively shortened position. Now, if I were to remove this strap, more likely than not, I'm still not going to be able to get a full range of motion out of the elbow joint because the muscles that control the elbow joint have not been used in a way that makes it safe or comfortable to extend the elbow. In order to correct this, I would need to get the biceps to relax and lengthen more and allow some range of motion here. And I would need the triceps muscle group to be able to fire, to pull, to shorten themselves so that the elbow then extends and opens up. So if I start with the biceps in this shortened position and I want to relax them and lengthen them, I'm going to want to do some massage techniques on it. I'm going to want to try to stretch things open. Maybe I'll use a ball against a wall and I'll be massaging there, or I'll use some sort of fancy stick that I bought to massage in there, or I'll use some sort of fancy high-tech $700 massage gun that's backed by science. It's not really backed by science. And then I'm just gonna drill into my biceps until they lengthen out. Oh yeah, oh, I can feel my fascia loosening. And I have a professional massage therapist or a physical therapist or a chiropractor help me open this up and up and up, and I finally get this full-ish extension of my elbow. Is my problem going to be fully solved? The answer is no, because I need to have full control over the elbow joint, and just loosening and stretching out the biceps is not a full resolution of the problem. Because if we just lengthen this, you did help me achieve more of a full range of motion, but I may not have the strength to actually control flexion again. The biceps are probably not very functional because they were stuck in this position for 5 years. So I'm gonna need to actually train this muscle to be stronger. I will need to use resistance. I'll need to use weights to get the muscles used to working through that full range. And if you're thinking, well, that doesn't seem like it's gonna be a full resolution either, because yes, there's another side, then you are correct, because the triceps also need to learn how to work through that full range of motion. So we'd probably need to use weights, resistance, whatever, to make sure that the triceps are learning to fire and stabilize the elbow joint, move the elbow joint through the full range of motion. So just loosening the stuff that's really stiff and short doesn't actually solve the full problem. You have to also train strength through the full available range of motion so that everything feels stable and comfortable. Which brings us back to the hip joint, which, as I mentioned, is a lot more complex than the elbow joint because it allows for a whole lot more range of motion because it's a ball and socket joint rather than just a hinge joint. All of those muscles can get atrophied, weak, or stiff and shortened. Some muscles can be stuck like our biceps were, and they need to be taught to lengthen but also strengthen, while other muscles on the opposite side might need to strengthen and learn how to shorten. So if we take this elbow joint example and apply it to our hips, we can think, well, a lot of times we're stuck in hip flexion because we're in that seated position all the time, and that's going to mean the hip flexors, for example, might need to lengthen out like the biceps, and the muscles on the back of the hip might need to learn how to shorten and be stronger to create hip extension. But that doesn't mean that the hip flexors only need to relax and lengthen. They also need to get stronger at controlling the full range of motion. So we can't just get locked into this idea that, well, I've got some stiff muscles on the front, and if I just massage and relax them, that's going to fix the whole problem. And we need to keep in mind that there are muscles wrapping this in 360 degrees, so we also need to be thinking about abduction, adduction. We need to think about external and internal rotation, and we need to think about how all those motions combine. And if you're somebody who's super active and athletic, you're lifting a lot of weight, maybe you've got really strong, stiff butt muscles and hamstrings, so you go in and you spend 30 minutes every day massaging those muscles and getting them to relax, to release some tension. That's fantastic. And also, you might need to strengthen them in different positions. Maybe you need to strengthen them when they're in a lengthened position. Maybe you need to actually strengthen your hip flexors, or it could be your adductors, or maybe some of your adductor muscles are really stiff and tight, and maybe they need to be relaxed and then also strengthened. The key here is not to get caught in the idea that if massage is helping and improving things, that massage alone is going to fix all of the problems. An elbow joint that's stuck like this will be improved by stretching, massage to restore some of the range of motion. You still need to expose the muscles on both sides to ensure that you have full control and full comfort in the affected joint. In the hip, that can get a lot more complicated because so many things wrap in so many different directions. And changes in the position of the legs and the pelvis can really affect the available ranges of motion and what muscles are at play. For example, some people may find that doing some kind of a pigeon stretch where you have hip external rotation and hip flexion is really easy, but then as soon as you start adding hip internal rotation and adduction, oh good lord, everything is blocked because suddenly you're exposing the weakness or the stiffness of a different set of muscles that in another position simply doesn't exist. That's why it's so important for you to explore a wide range of exercises and movements so that you can figure out what muscles on you need attention. There are no magic fixes where you just give one workout to everybody with hip pain and that fixes everything. There are going to be some commonalities with a lot of people, but the deeper you dive into trying to improve your hip mobility, the more you will realize that you have to be making decisions and assessments for your own body so that you can get deeper and deeper into ranges that you thought were just never going to be accessible. And then we will make public our forbidden love. The bad news is we live in a modern era where it's really easy for your hip muscles to turn really weak and dysfunctional and stiff and cause you a lot of hip pain that then gets blamed on your bone shapes or other structural abnormalities. The good news is we live in a modern era where it's really easy to access all kinds of hip exercises online pretty much for free. So if you are looking for hip exercises to help you, go online. You're already there. On YouTube, if you look for Upright Health hip exercises, you will find a ton. I've got a lot of videos that'll help you improve your hip range of motion and hip function. I will link to some of them in the description box down below. And if you are looking for a comprehensive program that will help you rebuild your hips, I invite you to check out the Healthy Hips program, which you'll find at uprighthealth.com/HH. It's actually 2 programs in one, and it's money back guaranteed. I've designed it to help people who have no experience in exercise, who are total beginners, just jump right in and start doing some movements that'll help you unlock. Oh man, you gotta get that checked out. that'll help you unlock your hips. And there's a custom track to the program that shows you how to make some assessments for yourself so that you can then focus your workouts in a way that benefits your unique body. You get both of these programs in one program, and it's all available on my website at uprighthealth.com/HH. And hey, if it doesn't work for you, you can get your money back, so there's no risk to you. I've been doing this for a long time, so I've packed it with over 70 follow-along workouts of all different levels, different focuses, different styles to help you rebuild your hips at home. So go check it out right now, or maybe in a month's time when you feel more ready. It's all good. No pressure. I've got free videos. Check the links in the description box. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you learned from this video. Hit the like button, subscribe, and as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't.